Texas Governor Krhd Abbott meeting with the final two Mexican governors today at the Texas border. Plus, volunteers are needed in the Brazos Valley. Tonight we see which group is asking your help. And will there actually be a sunrise service for Easter? Meteorologist Caleb Chevalier has your Easter weekend forecast. Your Krhd News starts right now.
Connecting the Brazos Valley. This is KRHD News.
Happy Good Friday. I'm Brittany DeFran. Whether it's office work, watercolor painting, playing music, or just reading a book, one local hospice care agency is asking the public to volunteer and help terminally diagnosed patients. Allumin health employees, medical workers, and counselors to deal with the most of patients' needs. Their patients undergo hospice care at home or in nursing home facilities, but the work that their volunteers do is something they need more of.
We have two ways you can volunteer. There's the patient side, which involve patient visits, and you are matched when you come in and go through orientation. Then there's the administrative side, which we always need help filing and doing patient binders and things like that.
Anyone 18 or older can volunteer and are given training about the process. A top border official says Governor Abbott's plan to bus migrants to Washington, D.C. is contradictory because the state is not coordinating with the government. In a statement announcing the plan, Abbott said sending migrants to Washington would allow the federal government to address the needs of migrants immediately. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner says the state is making the government's job more difficult by moving them without coordinating with the feds. Texas Governor Krhd Abbott signing an agreement with the Mexican governors of Coahuila and Tamaulipas today to ease the backup at the border. Earlier this week, Abbott ordered DPS to inspect every vehicle crossing the border, leading to hours-long backups at points of entry. The latest agreements will return the rest of the state to random vehicle inspections in exchange for added security on the Mexican side. Abbott has already signed agreements with the governors of Chihuahua and Nuevo León.
With the caveat, and that is if we do see increased trafficking across the border, we will strategically shut down certain bridges.
If the bridges are shut back down, Abbott says it would cause massive financial harm to Mexico that he says is needed to solve the problem. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke weighing in today on those extra border inspections. Speaking in El Paso, O'Rourke called them completely unnecessary, adding the only person who benefited from the increased security checks was the governor, scoring political points.
Just want to make sure everyone gets this was completely unnecessary and did absolutely nothing to improve the security and safety of El Paso, of Laredo, of FAR, of any one of our border communities, of the state of Texas, or of the United States of America.
O'Rourke, citing a report from economist Ray Perryman, estimated the enhanced inspection cost the Texas economy nearly $500 million per day. If you are looking for some fun this holiday weekend in the Brazos Valley, the Navasota-Grimes County Chamber of Commerce is hosting its annual Groovy Grapes Wine Walk in downtown Navasota. The event will be held tomorrow from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tickets are $25 day of. John McNally, executive director for the chamber, says this event is a great opportunity to showcase the city.
People are seeking out a small town atmosphere, and that's one of the things that Navasota has to offer, and you find it out peppered throughout Grimes County, actually. Little communities who support the local businesses, but it's really fun to see people come into the area and they get so entranced by what we have happening here in Navasota.
The wine walkers are asked to check in at the Navasota Visitor Center, located on the corner of Washington Avenue and Farquhar Street, where they will receive a commemorative wine glass along with an event map that also serves as a punch card to present and eat at each location.
Russia's now threatening to ramp attacks back up on Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv. Russian forces withdrew from the city last week, and the police chief says they have found the bodies of more than 900 civilians in the aftermath. Families displaced within Ukraine and those who are fleeing to neighboring borders require medical attention and basic necessities, but mostly safety.
It was horrible there. Every day people are going crazy, to be honest. It's intolerable. The children, the tension is terrible.
11 million people moved from east to west. 2.5 million people moved into Poland. And my primary goal was to meet them and see the needs they have. Needs of shelter, of food, of medicine, children going to school.
Faith-based groups are providing assistance and hope. Ukrainian Bishop Bohdan Danilo is from a city in Poland on the border of Ukraine that is housing refugees. He was there a few weeks ago on behalf of Catholic Extension, the church's charity. Now, they shared these images of the trip, and they were there to distribute food, medicine, but also to meet with local volunteers and those in need, which are mostly women and children. He says that most don't want to leave their country.
Could you imagine removing from your city that you live any man who is older than 18 to 60? How you leave your husband and a son fighting and move 7,000 miles away? If that war ends, they want to come back.
Samaritan's Purse is another faith-based group on the ground in Ukraine. They provided us these pictures from the multiple medical facilities that they're running right now in the country. Both groups say it is key to work alongside local churches.
If it's a Christian community, of course, it's the churches, synagogues, for Jewish or Muslim mosques are the places that people come. So those places know how to help the most because they are on the ground. They know their neighbors.
The conflict and outreach continues through one of the most important holidays for Christians, recognizing the death and resurrection of Jesus, talking about Easter. The faithful ask you to remember Ukraine this weekend.
Pray for ceasefire. Pray so the children do not have to die, that those women do not have to take the kids across the border and go in an unknown land.
All right, next on our lineup, online sales exploded during the pandemic, but so did fraud. What you can do to protect yourself when buying and selling online.
Easter weekend is here, but will we see some great weather this weekend? Caleb is tracking the skies. He tells us what he sees next.
A tornado warning that has been issued. Now we'd probably have a tornado right now.
You can just tell from that how strong this storm was.
When severe weather strikes, trust the 25 weather experts to keep you safe. Only on 25 News.
You may want to check your medicine cabinets. Certain hemp Vanna pain relief products are being recalled. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the packaging isn't child resistant and could pose a poisoning risk to children. The products were sold nationwide at stores including CVS, Walmart, Target, and Amazon. Customers should contact the company on how to safely dispose of the product and get a full refund. The FDA can now regulate vape products that are marketed illegally. Vaping companies would often switch the source of the nicotine in vape products to synthetic to get around regulators and keep their products on store shelves. The loophole closed this week. Now anyone who makes or sells non-tobacco nicotine must comply with the FDA regulations. Having more good cholesterol in your body may protect your brain. Researchers from the Keck School of Medicine of USC discovered higher HDL cholesterol levels show a link to better brain health in older adults and more protection against Alzheimer's. Scientists say good cholesterol also appears to prevent inflammation from the brain and blood system. Inflammation in the region is a key sign of cognitive decline. Children's Hospital Week is coming to a close, but we want to share one more remarkable story. A Temple boy who wants to be president of the United States is tackling something much tougher than politics. He has a brain tumor that caused serious health concerns before doctors at McLean's found a solution. 25 News anchor Todd Unger has his story.
Don't be surprised if you see Danny Agee on the campaign trail down the road.
Well, I just want to make the country great.
You see, this Texan has his eyes set on the White House. That's right, Danny wants to be president one day.
I think I was 7. I asked my mom, can I get some business cards that say Danny Agee for president?
Those big aspirations were nearly derailed 2 years ago. In 2019, Danny was having headaches that made him nauseous and eventually caused him to have a seizure.
He was in a pretty bad shape when he came in.
The director of pediatric neurosurgery at McLean's said they found a brain tumor growing near Danny's pituitary gland. They were worried about removing it. It could cause long-term damage, so instead they drilled a hole in his skull and inserted a port.
You can just go in and tap that port and get the extra fluid out, and it'll relieve all the extra pressure in his brain.
The day before his surgery, Danny made news here in Central Texas and even around the world. He asked his parents for Chick-fil-A, but there was a problem. 2 of them, actually. Not only was it Sunday, it was one particular Sunday, Easter Sunday. But that didn't stop Nurse Jenny from trying to pull off a miracle. She made a few phone calls, and then
All of a sudden, there came the Chick-fil-A cow. There was trays of chicken nuggets and baskets of goodies. Danny's eyes just kind of lit up.
One final nugget. After a successful surgery, Danny's prognosis is good. Despite the tumor still being there, his parents say there's no reason his DC dream can't come true.
We still believe that if Danny wants to be the President of the United States, he can do that. We see a bright future for Danny. Having a children's hospital that can deal with the specific needs of kids it's priceless.
Todd Unger reporting there. Danny is currently taking hormones since his growth was stunned by the tumor. He also has an MRI every 6 months just to make sure everything is okay. Now, there's still time to support the miracle workers at McLean's Children's. Right now, pull out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you to a donation page partnered with Krhd News.
Retail theft has spiked during the pandemic, and as states wait for federal action, a growing number are taking matters into their own hands when it comes to online marketplaces. Recent measures aim to prevent both theft and fraudulent sales on platforms like Amazon, eBay, and Facebook. Illinois, Ohio, Arkansas, Alabama, and Colorado have all passed legislation, and more are considering it, according to the Retail Industry Leaders Association.
Really what we're trying to get at is to make it harder to sell stolen goods from behind a fake screen name, a fake business, folks that are using the anonymity of the internet to dupe consumers into buying something that's stolen.
RELA says this is a win for both online retailers and the general public. However, Amazon has raised concern that states doing this on their own will create a patchwork of regulations and end up hurting law-abiding sellers. They're encouraging states to wait for the bill in Congress to pass. RELA agrees a federal measure would make things more cohesive, but says that most states have been following the bill in Congress as a framework.
There won't be different kinds of regimes that folks will have to sign up for. It'll just be, providing if you're a small business, you're really providing the marketplace you're selling through with some very basic business information. So it really wouldn't matter what state you were in, where you were buying from, where you were selling to.
Now, for those in states that don't have protections yet, he says double check that a seller is legitimate before buying what may seem like a good deal. Counterfeit items can have more consequences than just wasting your money.
A lot of folks that are selling, fake knockoffs, some oftentimes dangerous products that don't meet safety standards, are made with dangerous chemicals, perhaps have lead in them.
An item having bad reviews or no reviews at all can be a red flag. Also, if the seller doesn't have a real website. Now, you might be missing out on some money. Millions of people are. How to find out if you're one of them and how to get your cash. Next in the lineup. Tax day is on Monday, but are you sure that you're getting the full refund that you're owed? The IRS estimates that 20% of people eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit are not claiming that money. Now, that credit alone could put thousands of dollars back into your pocket, and Alexa Liacco found how you can get the money you're owed even if you've already filed your taxes.
So this is going to be your federal return?
It's probably one of your least favorite things to do.
This is your total income for the year?
But this year, the chore of filing your taxes could mean a bigger refund than usual.
You got to make sure that you get that money that you deserve.
Xavier Farrell works with AmeriCorps. He's helped with all kinds of projects across the country. Everything from stocking food banks to fire prevention. But now he and his team are helping prepare taxes for free. Their biggest mission, helping families get bigger refunds.
Giving those people the money that they so rightfully deserve back from the government, it's been incredibly humbling.
Doing this work helped him claim a bigger refund too.
It's a huge help because, I paid my way through school, and so kind of having that extra bump, it takes a little bit of the weight off.
This year was the first year he could claim the Earned Income Tax Credit, a credit for people making up to $57,000.
The level of awareness is actually pretty low for these things.
But Xavier and his team want to change that, because this year, more people can get the credit, because it's now available to both younger workers and senior citizens. And the maximum credit amount is nearly tripled. For single filers, you can get up to $1,502. For filers with kids, you can be refunded anywhere from $3,600 to $6,700. The Treasury Inspector General found about 5 million eligible Americans are not claiming these credits, leaving $7 billion unclaimed.
So that's a lot of money left on the table.
Isabel Dixon works with the Colorado Department of Public Health. She says even if you already filed this year, there's still a chance to claim the credit.
Generally, you can file up to 3 years of back tax returns, so back to tax year 2018.
She encourages everyone to file an amendment and claim past credits too.
Tax refunds can really make a difference, and when families have the financial resources they need, parents and children can thrive, they have better health outcomes, and kids can do better in school.
It all starts with a quick internet search using the words IRS Vita Site tool. You can enter your address and see where you can get free tax help. If you need more time to file, ask for an extension. Because even after tax day passes, Xavier and people like him across the country will be waiting for the chance to help.
Seeing the excitement in their faces and knowing that was going to help take some of the burdens off. It was nectar for the soul. That's the only way that I can describe it.
I'm Alexa Liacco.
Consumers everywhere depend on California, whether they know it or not.
Drought conditions in the country's largest farming region are about to impact your grocery bill. Chloe Nordquist has more on what to expect and why this year is especially concerning.
High up in the mountains, Andrew Schwartz is gathering data that tells us a lot about snowpacks and their importance to the overall water supply.
What have we seen so far this winter, and how do you think that will impact the coming months?
We have seen just massive weather whiplash up here. It's looking like it could be another drought year in which we don't have enough water to go around.
These mountains hold a very important water supply for California. Here at the Central Sierra Snow Lab, they measure and research all things atmosphere, especially snow.
Particularly this year, we are seeing ahead of schedule melt. When it came to our April 1st measurement this year, which typically tells us how much water we're going to have for use throughout the year, we were only at 38%. Well below, of course, where we would hope to be, and well below recent years.
The amount of snow you see up here has a direct impact downstream. As it melts, it's used for drinking water, watering lawns, and irrigating one of the largest produce growing regions in the United States.
Because of shortages, we have to fallow ground. We have to leave ground idle. So this year, my farm has got 200 acres that's been left fallow because we don't have enough water to farm it.
Bill Diedrich grows everything from almonds to grapes and processing tomatoes in Central California.
Over the years, how has the snowpack from the north impacted your farms?
Our focus is primarily on water supply as a result of what has happened over the last 30 years in water supply in California.
If you're in New York or Boston or Miami or North Dakota and you're putting pizza sauce on a pizza or dipping a chip in some salsa, chances are the tomatoes that went into that product came from California.
Mike Wade with the California Farm Water Coalition is expecting around 800,000 acres of farmland in California to sit idle this year.
If you are a farmer and you live to make things grow, that opportunity is becoming more and more difficult to maintain.
We're looking potentially at 40 to 45% of the farmland in California having little or no water at all. We're already seeing price increases for fresh produce, and it's going to be worse this year because of the reduced production that's coming from the state.
While the snowpack is not the only water supply in California, it tells experts a lot about future water availability.
Given where we are in time, we're at a tipping point. There's going to have to be some hard decisions moving into the future where is somebody's livelihood more important than somebody's right to water?
I'm Chloe Nordquist, reporting.
All right, Chloe, thank you. And still ahead in our lineup today, a food delivery battle. The fees and restaurant listings that led to lawsuits. Now the results could affect your next order. Companies like DoorDash and Grubhub are taking a bite out of restaurant profits. We've talked about that. And now several lawsuits are in motion that could lead to improved transparency on those apps. Now, in the most recent case filed in March, D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine accuses Grubhub of listing certain fees as taxes in order to sneak them past customers. He also says the company listed restaurants without permission, which is a practice that can increase the chances of an incorrect order.
Attorney General Racine has been pretty active in pursuing lawsuits when he feels that consumers are being duped. As alleged, it fits the pattern of the kind of case that he would pursue, deceiving or allegedly deceiving the public, adding hidden charges, false websites, and the like.
Now, in its response, a Grubhub spokesperson said the company is disappointed about the lawsuit. The company says it has already corrected some of the issues from the complaint. Grubhub stopped listing non-partner restaurants in D.C. It also claims to list its fees more clearly.
If the AG's office prevails, then I think that's going to really set in motion a lot of copycat cases against others in the kind of intermediary industry like Grubhub, as well as those in the travel and leisure industry and others who maybe don't do exactly this, but could be accused of something somewhat similar.
The lawsuits connected to the delivery industry are moving slowly through the court system. In the meantime, Grubhub and its rivals are still listing non-partner restaurants in most cities, since only a few cities have banned that practice. Well, it is about that time that seasonal businesses start to open up. But this year, it may not go so smoothly for many of them. On Monday, why hiring is expected to be even more challenging, and the changes that many seasonal businesses are being forced to make.
Jimmy Kimmel is up next. Garrett Hoddle and Bane Froney are back at 6 a.m. for Good Morning Texas. Plus, we're always on the KRHD mobile app. Thanks for watching and have a good night.